criticize black people. Oh, God, all he does is criticize black guys. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Foreign Insight Podcast with your host, Maddox, man. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get into this, man. First of all, I had a little mini couple days off, relaxing. Just happy that Trump won. Hold on, let me get some water. I got a little hiccup. I hope that does the trick. But I'm still happy that our man Trump won 2024. Trump, let's go. But some people was totally unhappy. And would bring me to this topic of Baltimore. The mayor of Baltimore, Brandon Scott. Brandon Scott had a few words. And I'm going to let him speak. And let's see what Brandon Scott had to say. Shall we?
Obviously, extremely disappointed in the results, but it is clear that there will be a second Trump presidency. It is really on my heart this morning to say that as a man, but more importantly as a black man, that this country does not deserve black women or black people. But
let the simping begin.
Specifically, black women. This morning I woke up and I just gave my wife a hug because I know how heavy this is weighing on black women. And they have carried
this dude, what you call a sucker. So an Indian woman lost the election and then you hugged your black wife.
this country and saved this country too many times and continue to be the most disrespected human beings on the planet. And it, quite frankly, it disgusts me. I'm thinking about the world that we're going to bring our daughter into in a few months. And I want the vice president to know that her and her team did everything right in the right way. But the unfortunate reality is that this country is still steeped in racism. And I want the vice president to know that her and her team did everything right in the right way. But so
hold on. So he just flat out lied. Her team addressed abortions, most of her campaign. Most Americans, that's not their main concern. Number two, you did everything right in the right way by having a bunch of ratchet women perform on your rallies. You had Meg Thee Stallion twerking, body, yaddy, yaddy. You had Glorilla, it's 7 p.m. fry, 99 degree. That's what you had. You had Cardi B come up there. All the people who talk about the most ratchet stuff, you had ratchet black women and ratchet Latino women come there to speak about women body parts. How that the right, you did everything right. People like him, ooh.
Unfortunate reality is that this country is still steeped in racism, sexism, and misogyny. I'm
telling you, he only doing this because he wants some pussy from his wife, and she probably not giving him pussy. I am telling you, because this don't even make any sense of what he's saying. So watch this. So for all the women out there who didn't vote for Trump, y'all misandrous. So now, because we didn't vote for this woman, everybody voted because of misogyny. This is dumb. First of all, most black men at 78% voted for Kamala Harris. Right? So, not only that, most white women, if I am mistaken, voted for Trump. So the ones who voted for Trump and didn't vote for Kamala Harris, does it mean that they don't like women also? I'm tired. This is the reason why black people like him, who in high positions that play victim, are not needed in our community. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, I'm sorry.
am personally proud of her, and I know that so many others are the same. We appreciate her tenacity, her focus, her decency, and how she handled herself throughout this campaign. And I don't want to hear anybody saying that they should have done something different. She should have been running longer. The fact is that they did everything that a campaign can do and more.
He's lying. He is. I'm sorry, I'm passionate, but this dude is lying. He is lying. They could have done more by telling the truth and stop focusing on the fake rhetoric and the fake news that Trump was a threat to democracy and he was Hitler. You turned people off when you kept going on that route, spewing lies in people's faces. So what you're saying is her telling lies was everything right by your logic. Come on, man.
But we as a country really have a lot of soul searching to do. And that's really what I want to say about that today. But I want black women to hear from me to know that as a black man, I am going to triple my efforts to lift them up, to make sure that they're supported, to make sure that they're seen, and to make sure that other folks are challenged into understanding that they alone can't be the soul of this democracy, and that they alone can't save us from ourselves time and time again. They alone can't be the people that show up and show up in such a way that folks who are voting against their own best interest, that they are saved as well. They can't do it anymore. And we...
Mr. Weakman. So voting for ABs, how was voting for ABs and the right to do that any trimester, how was that the best interest for black families and black females? You're voting for ABs, which will in return delete future women from even existing. What are you talking about? This guy right here have blood in his body. He got sunny delight in his body. I bet if I was to like cut his skin, he's gonna leak fake orange juice. Not a real man. It's a Capri Sun nigga.
You have to be there to understand that reality and lift them up. I don't know everything that a second Trump presidency will bring to Baltimore, but if he follows through on some of his dark, violent promises, we know that we are looking at challenges in the years ahead. But I want Baltimoreans to hear me clearly. We have a lot to be proud of in our leadership in the state and in the city. And I know all of my colleagues in office will agree when I say that Baltimore will always be a place that welcomes and protects our residents, no matter what they look like, who they love, where they were born, or how they choose to live their lives, as long as they're doing it in a legal manner. That will not change. And I will continue fighting for Baltimoreans no matter what.
First and foremost, women out there, men like this, please do not trust. He has a sneaky spirit about him. And the real men out there know what I'm talking about. We can't stand men that simp like this because they put women in a delusional state. And it's hard to wake them out because they know that guy like this is going to be on their side automatically. That's actually against their best interest. Simply may do. But you know what? This dude is so focused on what Kamala Harris' presidency was. But focus on your schools. Look at this.
The latest round of state test results raises alarm in Baltimore City, and we're getting a detailed look into how bad it is.
Project Baltimore's Chris Papps found 40% of city high schools where the state exam was given did not have a single student score proficient in math.
Jason Rodriguez.
This is educational homicide.
Is with people empowered by the struggle.
There is no excuse.
In 2021,
enough is enough.
The Baltimore-based nonprofit held rallies, calling on Baltimore City School CEO Dr. Sonia Santelises to resign over low test scores, falling graduation rates, and a lack of transparency. Now, after seeing what Project Baltimore just discovered, Rodriguez is renewing those calls.
We have a system that's just running rogue, and it starts at the top.
Rodriguez is reacting to these new 2023 state test scores, which have not yet been released to the public. Fox 45 obtained them through a source in Baltimore City schools.
Y'all see that? Now do y'all see why Trump is mad and have an issue with the Department of Education? Do you see what's going on here?
The unredacted state test results at every school in the city. And what we found is hard to believe. Students took the test in the spring of 2023. Just a few months ago, we found 13 city high schools where not one student who took the state math test scored proficient.
Do you understand that? In 13 schools, not one student is competent of doing grade level math. Not one. And y'all talking about Trump is wilding for the Department of Education. He's right. They're getting billions of dollars and the kids are doing worse than ever before. But yet Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott is so focused on Kamala Harris. Do your job and focus on the kids in Baltimore. You simp.
One student. These are the 13 schools, which include some of the city's most well-known high schools like Patterson, Frederick Douglass, and Reginald F. Lewis. In total, students at 33 high schools took the state math exam last spring. In our analysis, we are not including Eager Street Academy because it's located inside the Baltimore City Detention Center. Of the 32 high schools remaining, if 13 had 0 students test proficient, that means 40% of all Baltimore City high schools could not produce a single student who's doing math at grade level.
Wow.
But that's not the only alarming finding we made. In these 13 high schools, more than 1,700 students took the test, and nearly 1,300, or 74.5%, scored a 1 out of 4, the lowest level, meaning those students are not even close to being proficient. And keep in mind, last school year, Baltimore City Schools.
One out of 4 is 25%. Just think about that. Think about that. Just think about it. A black-ran city, and these kids are just doing miserable, but I guarantee they keep skipping them, passing them on, which will lead to future kids going into the jail system via crime because the education bar is low and the education is
received $1.6 billion from taxpayers, the most ever. The district also received an additional $799 million from the federal government in COVID relief funding. Yet still, not a single student at 13 city high schools tested proficient in math.
So it's not a funding issue. We're getting plenty of funding. I don't think money is the issue. I think accountability is the issue.
6 years ago, in 2017, Project Baltimore produced a similar report where we analyzed state test scores and found 13 city schools had 0 students proficient in math. And many of the schools from 2017 are also on the 2023 list, including Achievement Academy, Coppin Academy, Frederick Douglass, New Era, Patterson, and the Reach.
We're still dealing with these same issues year after year. It's just scary to me and alarming to me because we know that what's happening now, is just opening up the floodgates to the school to prison pipeline.
City schools will not do an interview to discuss these results. Instead, we received a statement which states, "We acknowledge that some of our high school students continue to experience challenges in math following the pandemic. The statement also said recent increases in funding have increased student achievement. The district says in 7 of 8 grade levels, math proficiencies increased in 2023 compared to 2022.
I'm beyond angry. This is why we've been calling for the resignation of the school CEO.
It's important to note we're only able to report these test scores to the public because a source gave them to us.
Wow.
When the state officially releases them later this month, the results will be heavily redacted, making it more difficult for parents to see how poorly many schools are performing. Earlier this year, the state began further redacting state test scores after Project Baltimore reported on last year's poor outcomes. With State Superintendent Mohammed Chaudhry no longer seeking a second term, we asked the school board if it plans to reverse course and make more information concerning test scores available to the public. We were told the board has no comment. But when we were looking at the test scores we do have, we made another stunning discovery. Coming up on Wednesday on Fox 45 News, we'll tell you what we learned about the top 5 performing high school.
Wow. Wow. But this guy, Kamala Harris, simping out, worrying about a grown Indian woman. You're not focused on the children that's in your school. You're not focused on the children that's in the school. You're not focusing on the schools that's in your city or the children. I thought, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. What happened to that? But you know what? There's more. There's more. Think I'm bugging?
Thought students were the only culprits when it came to cheating. A new report shows that the school administration may be just as bad. The Maryland Office of the Inspector General for Education found that over 12,000 failing grades in Baltimore City public schools were changed to passing in the last 5 years. It's alleged that principals and assistant principals pressured teachers to change grades. Patterson High School had the most grades changed with 1,390. The grade changes could have severely impacted the graduation rate within the Baltimore City public schools. Tonight, the governor is responding to these claims. He said in a statement, the wrongdoing outlined in the Inspector General's report is deeply disturbing, to say the least, and parents and taxpayers deserve answers and accountability from the school system.
Do you understand why Trump is mad at the school system? Do you understand? But wait, there's more. There's more. There's more. Brandon Scott, there's more. You're focusing on that election? Fine. And you simping out and you're lying to people? But watch this. What about your hometown? Look.
Former Baltimore City student claims the failing school system led him to a life of crime. He gives details as Baltimore City Schools faces an ongoing lawsuit. Rebecca Pryor explains.
Yeah, graduating without being able to read or write. One inmate says this is ultimately what caused him to become a criminal, and he's not alone. Those speaking out against the Baltimore City school system now spanning behind bars.
It says, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, Mr. and Mrs. Patterson.
Receiving an interesting letter last week, Shawanda and Giovanni Patterson, 2 parents suing Baltimore City Schools for allegedly forcing taxpayers to fund a school system that underperforms and has a history of grade changing and inflated enrollment numbers. The letter they were sent from an inmate at the Jessup Correctional Institution, writing to share their own experience attending and graduating out of the Baltimore school system.
The school to prison pipeline is very real, and there are countless men in here to prove it.
The inmate going on to say he himself is the result of not receiving a proper education, getting locked up for murder at the age of 17 years old when he was barely able to read or write. He feels he never stood a chance and without many options was forced into a life of crime.
I failed the 3rd grade once, the 6th grade twice, and was in the process of failing again when I was pushed forward from the 6th grade to the 9th.
In a sit-down interview with Fox 45.
Wow. But yeah, I'm bugging for saying what I'm saying. We want black this. We want black that. Leave the white people out of the neighborhood in the school system. And when you have black people running the system, this is what happens also. This is what happens also. So this happened under Republican leadership and also under Democratic leadership. Let's be perfectly honest. So my point is, when Trump is trying to expose the education system, y'all mad. So y'all rather have your kids suffer and be taken advantage of by these people up top. Y'all rather let your kids suffer because you don't like Trump. But the man's correct. Baltimore is bad.
Patterson saying it's a message that will continue to motivate him and his wife as the lawsuit moves forward.
This lawsuit could have generational impact. So, that's one, humbling, and it is also very motivating. So, it's one of those things that really keeps you going.
Also giving them a boost of support, high-profile civil rights attorney Ben Crump recently signing his name to the lawsuit.
Which Patterson says gives them. I don't want to hear from that man. That man that dude just, nah, I'm good on him. But mind you, he goes up there and simps out for Kamala Harris, right? Says what he says. She said nothing wrong, X, Y, and Z. Focus on that. I'll hug my wife. So you don't hug your wife when the kids are doing poor in school? Like, damn, baby, I need help. Damn, baby, the school's doing bad, man. I need a back rub and tell me it'll be okay. Because that's real to a nigga like me, baby. Never, ever get my away. I keep it tight, all right? So I'm going to walk these dogs so we can live in a fat-ass crib with thousands of kids. You should have said that to your wife when your kids was failing. I don't get you. But before I go, I got a bonus video for y'all. That people were still unhappy that Trump won. That Trump won, pardon me. Let's take a look at this wicked woman.
60% of Latino voted for Trump, maldito lambone toito. Y'all are all ass kissers, y'all fucking prejudiced and racist motherfuckers. This is why I consider myself Afro-Latina, not Latina, because I'm not like none of y'all fucking 60%. None of y'all. Y'all can all go to fucking hell. Ojalá se mueran todito azaroso. Y'all all prejudiced, racista todito, mamagüevo. Ojalá se ahoguen.
Yo. First of all, I don't even know what she said just now. It sounded like something you'll see in Desperados, the movie. No mas, no mas. I think you put a spell on somebody. Somebody explain to me what she said in English, because that was scary. That was scary. Can you imagine her being a leader of a group or a nation? Para aquí, para todo solo, para que para acá, para atrás, para que duro, para fatiga, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pardon me. It's just a joke. I'm just saying things that sound like it's Spanish. It's a joke, all right? Don't say he's racist. We're in a sensitive world today. But I don't know what she said just now. Can somebody please tell me what she said? That was pure evil. So she's basically being racist to her own people. At the same time, calling them racist while she's the one that's being the actual racist. All because Trump won. You saw her face? Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco. Pardon me, I can only do that. I don't know nothing. I just know uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Yeah, I'm bad at it. I'm sorry. Mama huevo. What that mean? I don't know what that mean. I probably said something wrong just now. Don't. I'm sorry. I don't know what that means. Sucio mama huevo. I don't know what that mean, man. I'm gonna start saying things about getting myself in trouble. Well, anywho, man. Later, y'all. I'm out.
He hates black people. Oh God! All he does is criticize black guys.